let's find the quadratic equation of these roots. So we have here 5 plus minus square root of 6. So para masulat natin to in quadratic equation, ang gagawin natin is we have to get the sum and product of our roots. So kunin natin yung sum muna. We're going to add 5 plus square root of 3 and 5 minus square root of 3. So add natin, 5 plus 5 is 10. Square root of 3 plus negative square root of 3 will give us 0. So the sum will just be equal to 10. Now for the product naman, let's multiply 5 plus square root of 3 and 5 minus square root of 3. Now, we have here multiplying conjugates. So, pag nagmumultiply tayo ng conjugate, may shortcut tayo dyan. We have to copy the first term and then square it, minus the last term, then square it. So, we have 5 squared will give us 25. Square root of 3 squared is 3. So, 25 minus 3 will give us 22. Now that we got our sum and product, let's use the formula x squared minus sx plus p is equal to 0 para masulat natin yung ating quadratic equation. Now, let's substitute the value of our sum and product. So, substitute natin. This will give us x squared minus 10x plus 22 is equal to 0. Now, let's simplify the signs. This will give us x squared minus 10x plus 22 is equal to 0. And that will be our quadratic equation. Ta-da! Alright. Let's find the quadratic equation of this given roots, negative 2 plus minus 3 square root of 2. So, para masulat natin yung ating quadratic equation, kailangan nating hanapin yung sum and product of our roots. So, kunin muna natin yung sum natin. So, let's add negative 2 plus 3 square root of 2 and negative 2 minus 3 square root of 2. Now, kunin natin yung negative 2 plus negative 2. That will give us negative 4. 3 square root of 2 plus negative 3 square root of 2 will be 0. So, makakancel out na si 3 square root of 2. Now, punta naman tayo kay product. So, sa product natin, let's multiply negative 2 plus 3 square root of 2 and negative 2 minus 3 square root of 2. Now, let's perform multiplying conjugate. So, square natin si first term minus the square of the last term. So, let's square the first term. So, square of negative 2 is 4. The square of our last term, which is 3 square root of 2, will be 9 times 2. So, 4 minus 9 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. 4 minus 18 will give us negative 14. Now that we have our sum and product, we can now write our quadratic equation using the formula x squared minus sx plus p is equal to 0. So, let's substitute the sum and product. So, let's substitute. We will have x squared minus negative 4x plus negative 14. So, let's simplify the signs. This will now be equal to x squared plus 4x minus 14 is equal to 0. And that will be our quadratic equation. Alright, tada! Let's find the quadratic equations of our given roots. So, ang given roots natin is 9 plus minus 5 square root of 3. Now, in writing our quadratic equation, kailangan nating kunin yung ating sum and product of our roots. So, ano nga ba yung sum natin? Let's add our roots. So, let's add 9 plus 5 square root of 3 and 9 minus 5 square root of 3. So, add natin, 9 plus 9 is 18. 5 square root of 3 plus negative 5 square root of 3 will be 0. So, we can just simply cancel out 5 square root of 3. Now, let's proceed to our product. Let's multiply 9 plus 5 square root of 3 and 9 minus 5 square root of 3. Now, let's use multiplying conjugates. We square the first term minus the square of the last term. So, 9 squared will be 81. 5 square root of 3 squared will be 25 times 3. Now, let's simplify this. 81 minus 25 times 3. 25 times 3 is 75. So, 81 minus 75 will give us 6. So, now that we have our sum and product, we can now use the formula x squared minus sx plus p is equal to 0 in writing our quadratic equation. So, substitute natin yung sum and product natin. So we have x squared minus 18x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now let's simplify our sign. It will now be x squared minus 18x plus 6 is equal to 0. And that will be our quadratic equation. Okay, and that's it. Alright, ta-da! Okay, let's find the quadratic equation of the given roots. So our given roots is 2 plus minus 3i. So our first step in writing our quadratic equation is to get the sum and product of our roots. So kunin natin yung sum na ating roots. So let's add 2 plus 3i and 2 minus 3i. So pag in-add natin, 2 plus 2 will give us 4. 3i plus negative 3i will be 0. Okay, so our sum will be equal to 4. Now, let's get the product of our roots. So let's multiply 2 plus 3i and 2 minus 3i. Now, let's apply multiplying conjugates because they are conjugates. So we square the first term minus the square of the last term. So 2 squared is 4. So the square of 3i will be 9 and negative 1. So take note that I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So if we square that, it will be equal to negative 1. So take note that I squared is always equal to negative 1. Now let's simplify 4 minus 9 times negative 1 will give us 13. Now negative 9 times negative 1 will be positive 9. So 4 plus 9 will be equal to 13. So now that we have our sum and product, let's substitute them to our formula, x squared minus sx plus p is equal to 0. So substitute natin, it will give us x squared minus 4x plus 13 is equal to 0. Now let's simplify the signs. It will now be x squared minus 4x plus 13 is equal to 0. And that will be our quadratic equation. Alright, ta-da! Let's find the quadratic equation of this given roots. So we have negative 4 plus minus 5i square root of 3. So in order for us to write this quadratic equation, we have to identify the sum and product of our roots. So kunin muna natin yung sum ng ating roots. So let's add negative 4 plus 5i square root of 3 and negative 4 minus 5i square root of 3. So let's add them. Negative 4 plus negative 4 will give us negative 8. 5i square root of 3 plus negative 5i square root of 3 will give us 0. So yung sum natin will just be negative 8. Now let's proceed to our product. Let's multiply negative 4 plus 5i square root of 3 and negative 4 minus 5i square root of 3. So let's use multiplying conjugates. So let's copy the first term and then square it, minus copy the last term and then square it. Let's get the square of each term. So the square of negative 4 will be 16. The square of 5i square root of 3 will be 25 times negative 1 times 3. So 16 minus 25 times negative 1 times 3, that will give us 91. Now that we have our sum, which is negative 8, and product, which is 91, we can now use the formula x squared minus sx plus p is equal to 0 to write our quadratic equation. Substitute natin yung ating sum and product. So we will have x squared minus negative 8x plus 91 is equal to 0. So simplify natin yung ating signs. This will give us x squared plus 8x plus 91 is equal to 0. And that will be our quadratic equation. That's it. Alright. Ta-da! And that is it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have comments, questions, recommendations, suggestions for my next video, please leave them in our comment section below. Share this video and subscribe. And for more videos like this, you can go to my channel, Teacher Justin. And that is it for today. Again, I'm Teacher Justin. Goodbye, God bless, and stay safe. See you on my next video. Peace.